worries. Welcome into Lock In Live for NFL Week 16 with Uncle Phil. I'm your host, Matt. Thanks for joining us this Sunday morning. Uncle Phil, how are you doing?
Good, man. Excited about this week. Went 2-0 my best bets last week. Let's have a day. Unfortunately, Notebook just went 7-7 last week. So a little bit of redemption this week. I'm going to take it out on a few teams. We're going to make some money today. At least that's always the goal. I think we'll accomplish that today.
Absolutely. Well, you sound locked in. Let's lock in some picks. What do you say?
Yeah, no, look, with college football winding down, my time is really not split. It's really geared toward NFL now. It's really playoffs. And at this point, with college football playoffs, you either know them or you don't. So feel like that we do. And right now it's just dedicated to NFL. And NFL really needs more dedication this time of year because it's tricky, because you got to see, it's not just in the middle of the schedule, in the very beginning of the schedule, NFL schedule, bad teams don't know they're bad, and good teams don't know how good they are. Everybody thinks they're good at that point. So bad teams kind of overplay, and you're not sure how that's going to go. And so, until they figure it out, probably about week 3 or 4, then you kind of switch to, hey, bad teams know they're bad, good teams know they're good, and you kind of know strengths and weaknesses of each team. And NFL is really good, as far as predictable for me, at least, because I'm not a technician. I'm really more of a fundamentalist of like, hey, good teams, bad teams, matchups, that type of thing. I'm not looking for reverse line movements a lot of times. Now, sometimes I still take into consideration, but for the most part, fundamentalist. And then so from week 4 till about week 12, you can count on teams being who they are. Bad team's going to be bad. Good team's going to be good for the most part. And you'll see those flaws there and understand those. Week 13 is kind of when you start seeing teams get eliminated. Like this year, it was the Giants were the first one to eliminate. And then, of course, they just completely tanked right after that. And so as teams get eliminated, they react differently. And some are just like, hey, let's just play out the string, get it over with. And, other teams, managements position themselves for drafts, and they start putting players on the bench. And, hey, we're just going to rest you this year because they're playing for draft position. So this is the time of year when it's really, really important to pay attention to the details, because you just can't know who the teams are, and that's good enough. You have to know, you have to pay attention to who teams are sitting, what's at stake becomes massively important. So, to answer your question in a long way around is that you 100% have to be locked in this time of year because, what matters to some teams doesn't matter to more others. And it's just a difference of, people have different agendas this time of year. So you have to be 100% locked in.
All righty. Love that. Let's lock in some picks. Uncle Phil, where are you heading first?
Look, last week totals were really good for us. Went 2-0 on our totals. We're going to go back to the well again on totals. First place we're headed is that, look, there's no real weather today on the totals. The only one that's a concern of weather is the Minnesota Vikings and the Giants. You've got some weather there, some wind. We saw that impact both college games in the A&M Miami game yesterday, and we saw it impact the Green Bay Chicago game last night. So weather does impact, but that's the only game where weather might be an issue there. But in games where there's not going to be any weather issues, there's not, is the first place we're headed. We're headed to South Beach, where Cincinnati is coming to visit. Look, these two teams have two things in common. They will score in warm weather, and their defense are just absolute crap. So we're going to go over 48 as my first best bet. Cincinnati, Miami, over 48. First best bet. Next place we're going, why not stick in the warm weather? We're going out to Glendale, Arizona, where Atlanta's coming to visit Arizona. Again, two teams with not much left to play for, but both their defenses are just not good enough to really stop the other team. We're going to go over 48 in that one as well. So two teams or four teams, two totals, both at 48. Both, to me, in my opinion, are too low. Let's go over both for two of my 13 best bets today. I've got 8 sides in my notebook, and I've got 5 teasers, which all that include the Sunday evening game as well. One Sunday evening side and one Sunday evening teaser. So let's get to it.
Absolutely. And Uncle Phil, I'm looking at your bonus pick here. Yep. I know you've been hitting those at a high rate. How do you feel about this week's bonus pick?
I love that one. And like I said, I wish we had we may think about this for next year, have like a 30-minute session for the entire community, like we're doing now, the Lock-In Live, and then a 30-minute after session that you can only access through the website. That'll be for members only, where I can go and explain all this, because there's a lot I would like to explain about this bonus pick, and there's some additional picks off of that I think you can do that would be very attractive. But fortunately, we're not set up for that yet, but it's something we may look at in next year just to bring value for those that actually subscribe. So either way, whether you subscribe or not subscribe, I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Best part of the show is the questions, and we 100%. Got tons of them rolling in. So thanks for joining us every Sunday morning, guys. This is awesome. Let's go first to Andrew in Dallas. Andrew, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. He's loving Houston's defense. Raiders quit on the road today, just minus 14 hit.
Look, I wish it were minus 13.5. As a matter of fact, I'd probably bet it down and take the extra juice and go 13.5. I looked at it myself. I didn't play it, but I think that's a play. Raiders do look like they quit. I mean, literally, I know someone that was at the Raiders hotel last week. They ran into one of the Raiders players and in the elevator, and the Raiders player, they said, "Hey, good luck today." And the Raiders player said, "It's okay. We know we suck." And so that's the attitude of the team. I'm with you. I don't like 14, but I'd go down to 13.5. But I do think this team's quit. I think they probably clear 14. I think they probably clear 21. But just me, I'd like to. I'd take a little extra hit on the juice and go down 13.5. But I like the way you're thinking. The Raiders have quit.
All right, Andrew. Best of luck today. Thanks for the question. Next up, we got John. John, good to see you.
Yep.
He's talking. He had 2 questions. Let's go to this one first. He says, "Does Ewers doesn't push you off the Dolphins total?"
It doesn't actually. I think Ewers. I think you'll find out today he's actually a better quarterback than Tua. He's got a better arm, and he'll be able to extend the defense. And I think that, I really originally loved Cincinnati when it was 2.5. The line immediately went to 4 when Ewers was announced. But I think Ewers could surprise today. I wouldn't even be surprised. Look, I'm going to say this and absolutely get trolled for it and probably deserve to be for a lot of reasons. But look, I know Cincinnati's line went up to 4. Cincinnati should win. I think that's a prevailing thought. But I think Ewers is much better and got a better arm than Tua and can see over the offensive line, unlike Tua. And you're going to see a lot more passes that, that's the problem with short quarterbacks, right? Is that they can't see over the offensive line. So they have to make the hardest throws, which are outside, toward the boundaries. And Tua, of course, has the weakest arm of all these short quarterbacks. So he makes the most difficult throws and he can't get the ball there, and you're going to see a dramatic improvement in that offense. I think, again, we won't know till it shows up, and maybe Ewers is just awful, but I think they could. And also what keeps me in favor of Miami is that they're going to score, is that Cincinnati's linebackers can't tackle. They're the worst linebackers in the entire NFL. And so Achane's going to have a day. So, obviously I'm not doing player props in the notebook or anything like that, and typically don't give them out here. But I don't know what Achane's numbers are, but expect him to have a day today. And so I think you'll see a lot happen there today. I think the Dolphins offense could look dramatically different today and in a positive way. I think it actually could give them some hope. Not to say that Ewers is their forever quarterback, but I think he'll be an improvement from Tua.
Okay. Good stuff. John, thanks for the question.
Yep, 100%.
Let's keep rolling. Let's go to James Bennett. James Bennett with the NBA. Thoughts on Kansas City, Tennessee on the under?
John, first of all, good to hear from you as always. Again, I could see it both ways, to be honest with you. I don't like it well enough to play it. But Tennessee has been covering a lot lately, and they've been scoring a lot of points, and they scored a lot on Cleveland. And it was at home. I know Cleveland's defense on the road is terrible, but at home they've been pretty good. And Tennessee went in there and lit them up. So I think that Kansas City with little to play for today could relax a little bit. And I think Tennessee scores. So I don't expect to see the same Kansas City team that we've seen in the past couple of weeks. I think you'll see some players rest. Now, I think that, will Tennessee win? Will Kansas City win? I don't know. But I think Kansas City will come out and play well next week against. I think you'll see your defense step up on Christmas Day. They'll be at home against Denver. I think you'll see them kind of one last stand there. But I think today could be actually a little higher scoring. So, again, Kansas City being eliminated, I think you might see a different Kansas City team, I think, on defense. And that's why I probably would lean toward the over in that game. But, again, I don't like it well enough to play it. And so that's just a lean. So if you feel strongly about it, I won't stand in your way.
Definitely. All right, James, thanks for the question there. Let's keep it rolling. We got Corky. He's got the Chiefs profile picture. Good to see you, Corky. He said he was loving the Bills today, but the top circa dog is Cleveland.
Huh. Well, look, it's 10.5 now. So 10.5 is a lot of points. But you got to figure out if Cleveland has quit or not. You've got a coach that's potentially on the hot seat there, which is crazy because Kevin Stefanski will be unemployed for about 5 seconds. But I think that's an interesting game for there. I don't know. I think that I can certainly see it on that, but let me stop dancing around. That one's in the notebook. I'm not going to say anymore.
Okay.
I like that game.
Yeah, you're about to make a pick. It's like,
I was like, I'm sorry.
I think same goes for, Grant first in, comes in 10 seconds into the open, asks about this game. I think that one might be under the paywall again. So
yeah, it is. That's Grant. Hey, buddy, good to see you again. Good to see all you guys. Appreciate it. But that one's in the notebook too.
All right, let's keep going. Let's go to TikTok. We've had a lot of questions coming in on there. Cowboy, this user, his name is Barnes2507 on TikTok. Can the Cowboys win outright today on the money line?
Yeah, I guess they could. I mean, a lot of people thought that they were eliminated last week, but they were officially eliminated yesterday when the Eagles won, which I think everybody, assumed that they would. It depends on how the Cowboys come out and play today. It would be, even though Guyton's replacement at left tackle played better last week against Minnesota, didn't really notice that deficiency like you did the previous week where he was just horrendous. Chargers are a different animal. We'll see if that continues. Don't have enough history on them to lean toward the Cowboys. Also, Cowboys again eliminated officially. It'd be tough for me to put. Be tough for me to put money on the Cowboys versus who have nothing to play for versus the Chargers, which do have something to play for. So I understand why you think that, but again, it's week 16. Teams that are eliminated play differently, and some care, some don't. It just depends on how strong that Cowboys locker room is, and I don't know.
Okay. Let's keep it rolling. We got another TikTok question. Lyle, he says, Minnesota covering today? Question mark.
Yeah, look, that was one of my picks, and I just knew at the first of the week that I was going to go with Minnesota because I just don't feel like that obviously you're giving me the better coach with Minnesota versus, KOC, versus an interim coach. And, McCarthy is playing dramatically better. If I'd like to see McCarthy play a little bit better or a little bit longer, consistently, maybe have another couple data points. But as I was talking with Matt yesterday, he and I were kind of discussing the same thing because he's a big Vikings fan as well, is that I see McCarthy, he has the potential, like he's got the talent to do some good things there. You remember we thought Jordan Love was just an absolute bust his first year until week 9 on the road against the Steelers. And all of a sudden he popped. And then from there, he's been really good. And so there may be that opportunity for JJ McCarthy that he actually does well as well. And I kind of believe in him. I still think he needs some accuracy. He needs to work on touch passes, all these things that he needs to work on. But he's getting better incrementally every game. So I like that. But what I didn't like is that the money is pouring in on the Giants right now at +3, and that line's gone to +2.5. So for that reason, I bailed off just because, late money is typically a lot of smart money. It's not always, but, it's about 62, 63% right. It's not always right. You can't know always and never, but, that late money was coming in on the Giants. So I took it off my board. But, if you feel good about it, like I said, won't stand in your way either.
Awesome. Hey, Lyle, thanks for the question. let's keep going. We got Victor Gadsden on YouTube. That's on Buccaneers -2.5 versus Panthers coming off a bye week.
Look, if you know how to handicap that game, I will let you speak because I have no freaking idea. These two teams are the most schizophrenic teams and have both collectively killed me in different survivor leagues this year. They've killed my picks. They've killed survivor leagues. I just, for years it was the Falcons that I couldn't get right. And then it was the Jaguars. And then this year it's both Tampa Bay and Carolina. So I can't get these right, and I can't get them right all year long. And so I'm not about to tell you, give you any advice that would sway you one way or the other. So if you feel good about it, more power to you. I just think both these teams are terrible. And with the injury situation with Tampa, maybe they'll evolve into that good team and finally step up. But Carolina is so schizophrenic. I can't figure it out. Carolina had this great running game, but for the past 4 weeks, Carolina's ability to stop the run and to run the ball has been bottom 5 in the league. I mean, how does that happen? I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is the same team that beat Green Bay at Green Bay, and now they can't run the ball, and they ran the ball for ungodly how many yards against Green Bay. So I can't figure it out, but best of luck to you if you can, because I just cannot.
That's hilarious.
I just can't.
Victor at the LOL.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I don't know, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and just try to bullshit you guys. I mean, it is what it is. And
no, that's the way.
I mean, look, it's your hard-earned money. I don't care if it's $5 or $5,000 that you're betting. I am not giving you advice on that game. Just not.
Hey, Victor. Well, best of luck. I hope you make a click on that game and win. Yeah, that's all I ask.
Too, man. Please post if you win, whatever you do, because I want to see it and give me some advice on this game because I need it. I still don't know. It's just see South. I just have no idea.
Yep. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Hey, it's fantasy football playoffs, the semifinals for most leagues. I think you got about 15 fantasy questions rolling in on TikTok. Okay. You want to take one of those? I think an interesting one is Rico Dowdle or Henderson. Who's going to have a bigger game?
Henderson.
Travion. All right. Sweet.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Matt? You're a fantasy guy.
I think it'll be pretty even on those two.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I don't think there's a huge edge one way or the other. And then another one we got Dak or Stroud.
Dak or Stroud? Stroud. It's not close to me.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with the Chargers can get a pressure with four people, and that's the secret to their defense. And again, Dallas down without their left tackle. I think Dak will be scrambling. What I didn't play in that game is that I probably should have said earlier when people asked questions about the Dallas Chargers game. Because again, that was in the notebook. I've got it on the side, but I didn't put the total. But I think the total probably could go under a little bit there. So look for that total to potentially go under. It looks like Quinn Williams is going to play days out of concussion protocol. We've got, again, I think that the Chargers are going to play at a slower pace of play. They're going to try to run the ball. Dallas, I think, will have some challenges moving the ball as well, just because the Chargers defense. I would lean toward the under in that game if you're going to play it, but which is why I like Stroud versus Dak in that question.
Okay. All right. We got the fantasy questions out of the way. We'll take a couple more. Let's get back to the games. We got, excuse me. We got an individual. He says, I love Brady Cook. I think he has a lot of potential. Do you think the Jets can cover 6.5 today? Just New Orleans.
I do. I kind of feel like that line has gotten a little high. I initially liked New Orleans. Then all of a sudden, New Orleans had some injuries, wide receiver and running back this week. I mean, they're kind of running down. I really like I really like Shuck as a quarterback for New Orleans, and I think he's been a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But he's good. He's mobile. I like him. But Tyrod Taylor was activated as the backup, and it always concerns me that he could get in. If he gets in, then the Jets can cover. The Jags have got a good defense, and the Jets still put up like 20 points on them last week. And New Orleans not going to score a ton. And the total there is, I think it's around 40 and a half. So if they can do that, I think in a low scoring game, 6.5 is a lot of points, especially to New Orleans, who's down some skill players, and should be a closer game. So if I were playing anything, I'd play the Jets plus 6.5 in that game. I like the way you're thinking on it.
Okay. Just browsing through here. I think, it looks like we're about an hour from kickoff.
Yep.
Uncle Phil, it's week 16. Any final thoughts?
Sky's my witness. We're going to make some money today.
All right.
That's the final thoughts. But
just for some gifts.
Yeah. I think that, again, best bets today, doing the over 48 in both the Cincinnati-Miami game as well as the Atlanta-Arizona game. 2 of my best bets today. Again, 13 best bets total, 8 sides, 5 teasers. One of the teasers is for tonight's Sunday night game, as well as one of the sides is for tonight's Sunday night game. So for the day games, 7 sides, 4 teasers. Let's make some money today, guys. Hey, guys, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Always, you guys who are asking all these questions are always the best part of the community. Really appreciate it. Let's finish the year strong, as I know we will. Guys, thanks for tuning in, and you guys make me better. I always appreciate the questions. Let's have a day, as always, guys. Let's roll.